the amount of this knob is going to be the amount of signal that I'm sending to the reverb. Let's see what that sounds like. We can really crank that up. So again, here you could just start scrolling through the presets. I got some user presets in here.
Electronisounds Audio, the YouTube channel for you.
Okay, let's talk about the routing. We're going to go to a top-down view in just a sec, but so that you can see the whole configuration here, the angle might be a little more appropriate. So what I've done is I've got our iPad Air 2 plugged into a Novation Audio Hub 2x4, and this is allowing us to get Pro Audio into and out from the iPad. Okay, I've got an IK Multimedia iRig MIDI 2 plugged in to the front here of the Novation Audio Hub, and this is allowing us to get 5-pin MIDI into and out from the iPad. Okay, this is a MAM MB33 analog retro bass synthesizer. It's a Roland 303 clone, and I just got it in, and that's what we're going to be scoping out today. I'm running this into a Rat distortion pedal. It's a mono synth, so I'm taking a mono output from the synth here. It's going directly into this distortion pedal. I'm taking a 1/4 inch output from the distortion pedal, and we're running that directly into the front of the Novation Audio Hub 2x4. And there's a switch here on the front that turns this from a high gain to a low gain input, and I've pressed that in all the way so that we get the maximum volume from these two pieces of gear into the Novation Audio Hub, which means that the output volume from these devices is going into the iPad. So we're going to use the iRig MIDI 2. I've taken a 5-pin MIDI out and plugged that directly in to the back of the MAM MB33 here. So we're going to be sequencing this 303 emulation using the iPad, and we're also feeding the audio back into the iPad using the Novation Audio Hub. But this could be any audio interface that you have. We're essentially just feeding our audio back into the iPad, and pretty much any audio interface will do that, although they won't typically have this USB stuff on them, and you'll need to use a powered USB hub to get that connected. What we're going to do first is we're going to insert some sort of a drum machine inside of on an iPad so that we can get some sort of a rhythm going. And what we'll do for this is I'm going to just load, let's choose the Ruse Maker FM from Bramboss. And let's go ahead and put in a sequencer for that as well. I'm going to use the XOX sequencer from the Rosetta suite for this, and I'm going to assign this sequencer now to this drum machine. And how I do that is I open up the menu here and I click the little MIDI routing window, which is going to get progressively larger the more that we add stuff inside of And what we're going to do is we're going to select the Rosetta XOX out, and we're going to assign that to the Ruse Maker FM drum machine. And now the MIDI from the XOX is going to Ruse Maker. So what we'll do here is just create like a really basic pattern. I'll put like really heavy dots on the 4 on the floor, and maybe we'll put like a just a snare drum for now. And this should get us going with a little bit of rhythm from Ruse Maker. Let me check the audio level on the camera. Make sure we're not clipping or anything. Okay, and what let's do is just go ahead and raise our tempo a little bit. Let's raise this up to say 138 BPM for now, right? Cool. And let's insert now a sequencer that we can use to sequence this 303 emulation with. What I'll do is I'll insert another Rosetta sequencer. I like to use the baseline sequencer a lot of times for something like this. It's really appropriate because it's similar to a Roland 3LC sequencer to begin with, right? And now what we want to do is we want to tell that this sequencer is supposed to direct its sequence to the MAM. And so we're connected to the MAM via the iRig MIDI 2. So if I open up the menu here and I click MIDI routing, I can select the Rosetta baseline and I can send that to the iRig MIDI 2, which is plugged into the MAM. And now if I press play, let's see here. Oops, we didn't actually generate a pattern on the baseline yet, so let's do that. I've got the MAM set up to receive on MIDI channel 3 because it's a 303 emulation. So what we'll do is we'll go to the little MIDI button on any of the Rosetta plugins, but this is baseline. So we'll go to the MIDI and we'll select output channel 3. And that just depends on what channel you've set your MIDI hardware to. This could really be any little desktop synthesizer for this. The routing is the same. What we'll do here is we'll pick a key. I like to often write in the key of F minor pentatonic. It's a really simple key that works for me. And what we'll do here is turn the accents and the slides up just in the mutation probability to get a little bit of movement happening in real time right off the jump. And we'll go ahead and tell Rosetta Baseline to generate a pattern. Okay. Now we should be seeing MIDI lighting up here, but we're not. But it's definitely going to the iRig. So we'll figure this out. Well, stop. Okay. What we'll do is we'll close this for now, and we're going to go ahead and insert an audio channel. This is a hardware input because we're connected to the audio hub hardware, and we're connected to input 1, which is the left channel. It's a mono signal, so we're just going to use a mono channel here for that. And this is getting us audio now from these devices into the iPad. And let's start messing around and figure out why we don't have any MIDI going here. Oh, it's because I've got this plugged in wrong, you guys. Look at that. I had it plugged into the MIDI in when I needed to have it plugged into the MIDI out so that it would actually get signal. I just had it routed incorrectly. So now, if I press play, you'll see that we're actually getting MIDI. All right, that's cool. Didn't have to restart. Gotta love that. And so we're already generating a pattern, right? This might not be the coolest pattern. We can change the number of steps from 8 up to say 16. Maybe generate a new pattern until we're happy with what it's playing back. I'll also note that the rat pedal currently is bypassed, so all we're hearing right now is just a plain, clean sound from this Roland 303 emulation. Right off the jump, I want to make sure that this is not sending an audio signal into the iPad that is too loud. So how you can check the audio signal that's coming into this channel on is if we click on the 3 dots here, it's going to change, the VU meter at the top to channel 4 input. And now we can see what the volume is like coming out of this, and we can adjust this knob here accordingly so that we're not overdriving the signal into the iPad. Yeah, no problem. We're doing great. I want to leave some headroom though, because when I start cranking up the resonance and the cutoff, it's probably going to raise the volume. Here's what this is the square wave we've been hearing. Here's what the saw wave sounds like. Okay, so that's a pretty solid but very plain 303 sound. And what I've got here is I've got the rat distortion pedal, which has got a distortion amount, a little bit of like a low pass filter in the middle, and it's got a volume knob. So let's turn the volume knob down just a bit on this, and I'm going to activate this knob, and you'll hear what the distortion is doing to the sound of this 303. There we go. And the filter knob in the middle just sort of tames down the high frequencies of the input, which in this case is, our 303 emulation. So you can see how this rat pedal, you know, goes from like a subtle overdrive to like a screaming acid beast when you put it on the 303 emulation, which is definitely what we're looking for. But one of the things that, you know, we might want to do here is to spice this up a little bit with, like, say, you know, maybe a reverb or a delay. So let me show you how we can set up an effect send inside of ALM, and we can do just that, assign a reverb and a delay to this 303 sound. Now, to make an effect send, we're going to go ahead and start ourselves a new channel inside of ALM, and we're going to go ahead and let's see here, we'll go to the mix bus option, and we're going to say let's receive from bus A. We're going to make this send A, okay? And what we'll do is we're going to put now, if we click the, you know, add an effect option down here underneath the channel, we can add whatever kind of effect we want. So let's go ahead and add a delay. My sort of go-to delay for quite a bit of time now has been the Dub Station 2 delay from Audio Damage. So we can go ahead and just drop that on the channel, and then if we click here, it opens up the delay. We can kind of maybe scroll through some presets or just pick something that sounds interesting. For now, let's just pick like something called Auto Magic Dub, right? And so anything that's going into this send is now going to be affected by, you know, going to send some of that signal to that delay. And what we're going to do is we're going to decide that, you know, we'd like to, this is our USB input. We'll rename this so that it's not quite as, you know, complicated. And this is the MAM MB33, okay? And, well, it says man, but that's fine for now. And this is our audio input, and so we're going to tell that we want to send on this channel a little bit to that delay we just put in. So we'll click here to add an effect, but we're not going to add an effect. We're going to add a bus send, and we're going to send that to bus A. And now this is like a virtual knob over here. You can see that it starts showing a percentage as I move this sort of virtual knob up and down, and that's the amount of signal that's coming through this channel being sent to the delay. And let's hear what that sounds like. Maybe gotta use the cutoff effect. This is a brand new unit to me, so sorry about that, guys. Just gotta bring the cutoff a little bit up on this crazy guy here. And now we're really hearing the sound. So I can, you know, maybe scroll through the presets here. We'll choose Auto Magic Dub for now, and maybe just send a little bit of that, say, I don't know, 33%. And now we can, you know, definitely hear some delay happening here. You can scroll through the presets or make some adjustments here to your liking. This is just an example so you guys can kind of hear how serious this 303 can get. We'll go down to a square wave. Sorry, I can't help but just get lost in tweaking the filter on this unit. I really like this unit for the price. I think it's a really good alternative to actually spending the money on an actual 303. The sound in here is solid. It doesn't come with a built-in sequencer, which is why we're using a sequencer inside of ALM to sequence this. But you could sequence that with Ableton Live, or, you know, the sequencer inside of one of your hardware synths maybe. I hope you guys have found this useful in the way that you can connect these things up. We could easily just, you know, assign another channel here and put a reverb on that. We would then put yet another, you know, double tap here, and we would, you know, click a send, and we would send it over there. Let's do that now. Say if we want to, you know, let's make it a little more simple. We just rename this, right? This is our delay. We just put in our delay there, and we're going to put a reverb here. So we could just label that reverb, you know, and then we could click up here to add an AU effect. Okay, and we could pick any reverb that we like, or this could be, for that matter, this could be any effect that you like. What I'm doing is I'm doing this wrong is the thing. We want to click here and we want to tell it that it's a bus first. Sorry about that. So we want to make this receive from bus B. We've got our, delay on bus A. We'll put our reverb on bus B. And then we'll click the little add effects down here. And that's where we're going to actually add the reverb. So again, this could be, any audio unit effect of your choosing. I really like to use the EOS 2 reverb from Audio Damage here. And what we'll do is on our MB33 channel, we'll just click here. And here we're going to do a bus send, and we're going to send this to bus B. And now the knob, just like on the delay, the amount of this knob is going to be the amount of signal that I'm sending to the reverb. Let's see what that sounds like. We can really crank that up. So again, here you could just start scrolling through the presets. I got some user presets in here. And from here, you could just continue further customizing and shaping your sound. You could add some more effects if you want. You might take a compressor or a distortion, and you might put that on the MB33 channel inside of ALM. This is really, up to you at this point, how you customize your sound and your setup. One of the things that you can do is you can, tell, if you've got a bass line you like, you can go over to the next available pattern inside of Rosetta. You can maybe have it generate another one, or maybe you could program something by hand, to suit your needs. But you can see just how easy it is to get something going. We've told it, to generate a pattern and the key of my choosing. So it's super easy to synchronize your loops with this, or your external gear with this. I mean, let's be serious, guys. Let's break it down here. To go get a Roland 303 actual hardware unit, it's going to be pretty pricey. But this distortion pedal was probably about $69.99. The MB itself, I believe, was right a bit. There's some question because of the import translation of money and whatnot, but it was right around $200 US. Okay, so we're at about $270. Then you're going to add the iRig here. I don't know, you're going to be up to about another $350. Add the iPad in, you're going to be up to $7, maybe $850 here. Some chords, $9. Another big expensive guy at $950. We're only up to about $950. Compare that to the price of an actual Roland 303 hardware unit, guys. This isn't that bad of an option. Let's consider that, this isn't just a 303. This is a computer. It's an internet machine. It's a, it's a DAW. It's a bunch of synthesizers. It's whatever you put into it. So at the end of the day, value for the money for a 303 iPad configuration, really not that bad, and maybe something to think about. I hope you guys have found this useful, and until next time, thanks for watching.